week on Worldwide Gaming, Damien reviews Milo Briggs and the Mask of Death. We look at the top 10 game series that just lost their way. Lewis teaches us how to use Japanese tanks. And continuing the wargaming theme, we've got our World of Warships interview from Gamescom 2014 in Germany.
Hello, welcome to Worldwide Gaming. I'm not Ryan.
I'm Lysander.
And I'm still not Vince.
Well, today we've got a wargaming dedicated episode per se. We've got a 101 and an interview. And also we're giving away these magical, mystical badges. And we've figured out that this black thing, we're not entirely sure what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's an ice tray, because while you guys weren't looking, I tried it, and the ice is good.
There's also a bag in there as well.
Oh yeah, where is the bag?
I don't know, somewhere else.
Okay, well we're giving away that as well. But first up, we have the forecast.
Single-player co-op sounds pretty interesting in the upcoming Puzzle of Reset. Releasing soon for PC, we think it looks stunning, but we're not sure how much substance the game will contain, so we give it a 2. Coming 2015 for PC and Xbox One, There Came an Echo uses voice commands to immerse the players into the game. With a few well-known voice actors lending themselves to the game, we think it looks pretty fascinating, giving it a 1. The upcoming 2D shooter Rive is looking a bit lackluster. Coming soon to current-gen consoles, we think you should wait for the reviews before picking this one up. We give it a 0.
Milo Briggs in The Mask of Death is an action-packed spectacle fighter, much like the God of War or Darksiders series, but with a bit of a twist. It knows it's a terribly cliché game. This self-awareness can be found in all parts of the game, including the story. The game opens with a very B-grade movie scene that sees Milo's girlfriend wanting to quit her job as a decryptor. The boss, Henlong, an amusing character rumoured to be voiced by James Hong, doesn't allow her to quit. Milo proceeds to tell him to back off, and is then killed by Mr. Long's right-hand man. Long story short, the item he was killed with turns him into a crazy killing machine, accompanied by a Mayan death mask that has had no one to talk to for 2,000 years. The writer's self-awareness is admirable. They absolutely take these terribly overused tropes and own each and every one of them. From the Bond-like quips to the elemental powers, there's nothing here you haven't seen many times before. For those of you who are familiar with games like Darksiders or Devil May Cry, you'll feel right at home. Having said that, Milo Briggs doesn't quite have the production values found in either of those franchises. The combat doesn't feel as good and the animations aren't the greatest, but it's still very competent at what it does. In what seems to be a common theme for third-person platformers, there can be serious camera issues. It'll chop and change and there's literally no control over it, as the thumbsticks are used for movement or dodging. Improving the camera mechanics even a little would prevent you from blindly jumping off edges, and would have made the platforming mechanics much more solid. Milo Briggs features an uncommon style for some of the cutscenes. It'll cut to an in-engine still, pan around in a very Matrix-like manner, and will then proceed to tell a story in a very animatic way. It's usually done very well, but at the same time, seeing some of the broken animations and a few in-engine cutscenes tells me that it's also a way to hide some of the rough edges. On balance, it does work well, but the cutscenes are sometimes a bit lengthy and are not spread out enough through the game. Like many games of its type, Milo Briggs includes puzzle elements that are seemingly there for no other reason than to pad the game out. Sometimes they're blatantly obvious, other times the camera angles are so terrible it's hard to tell what the game is trying to get you to do. Thankfully, the titular mask seems to get bored with your fumbling attempts and will tell you the answer, as if the creators knew the camera angles were terrible and made obvious puzzles tedious. The game features 4 weapons and 4 abilities. When it comes to the weapons, they all feel like they have their uses, whether it be ranged, fast or heavy, and they do actually seem useful. On the other hand, I've only found 2 of the 4 abilities useful, which were both massive damage abilities. Other abilities are more focused on stunning enemies, but they don't feel necessary as the game's pace allows you to move fast enough to avoid most damage. They also don't seem to last long enough, even when fully upgraded. So it seems like they're an afterthought just so the game didn't seem lacking in that regard. Milo Briggs was released in 2012 alongside some giants in terms of visual fidelity, but it represents quite a step down in quality. While it does feature 120Hz capability for very fluid combat, it lacks any options to improve the visuals, something which has come to be expected of PC games. Things could have been vastly improved by adding options for some anti-aliasing or higher resolution textures. While better graphics would be appreciated, what's there never really takes away from the game. Sure, some animations might look rough, or a boss could look like something out of an early 2000s title, but on balance it's not that bad. The controls are relatively straightforward, and I never felt like I was mashing the controller to find the attack that I wanted. They are, however, let down by the camera angles the developers chose for the game. You can play with a keyboard and mouse, but I recommend a gamepad of some sort, as movement really does seem like it was programmed with analog sticks in mind. So, is Milo Briggs and the Mask of Death worth playing? Definitely. It's cheap, it's ridiculous, and most importantly it's fun, even with its apparent drawbacks. It's a good time waste, especially if you're in the midst of waiting for some new releases to come your way. It could also be seen as a welcome addition to the Spectacle Fighter fans' collection, as there's been something of a drought in the genre.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the show. If you'd like more, you can check us out on Facebook to catch up with the crew, or you can go to YouTube to watch past episodes and blooper reels, or you can check out the WG Cast on iTunes.